Good evening, yarnies, dirty hookers, and fiber fiends. How is everybody doing this evening? I'm pretty good. Let me adjust my setting over here. Alrighty. Um, Sorry I wasn't around yesterday. The rain and everything this weekend because we got all of the remnants from the tropical storm that hit the Carolinas. We got lots of rain this weekend, and my hands were not working. They were like, nope, not today. Hey there, Sophie. Hey there, Sue. How are you? How is everybody? My mind just went blank. We didn't do stream yesterday. What we were supposed to do, scheduled for yesterday, we're gonna do tonight. Possibility we might get a Wednesday night stream. We'll see. We're starting our pumpkin week. I'm really excited about pumpkin week because the three things I have are stinking adorable. The other thing is, I mentioned the other night on stream, on the merch store, I've added 2 items, 2 different accessory bags. So definitely check out the merch store if you're interested in that. We've got 2 different t-shirts, 2 styles of 32-ounce stainless steel water bottles, and 2 accessory pouches that are good for your hooks and notions or whatever you want to put in them. I think that's it. I don't think I have any other announcements. Oh, I do have an announcement. So the other day, let me just double check something. The other day, Granny Karen reached out to me. Hey there, Grammy. Granny Karen reached out to me the other day, and since she doesn't get around as easily, she asked me if I would go to the thrift store and find a house dress for her. So that's what I did today, and I gave it to her, and she loved it. So she may be wearing it in an upcoming stream. So that was a nice thing I did for her, since she's agreed to take over my Thursday streams. Alrighty, I think we're going to get right into it tonight. We are going to be doing the pumpkin patch stitch. It's super cute and adorable. It's very, very, very textured. It's not the same, but it has the same texture type feel as the strawberry stitch that we did back in June. It has that super, super textured. There are different variations of this. And I will show them tonight. The pumpkins in this are done with 5 puff stitches in the same chain space for each pumpkin. If you have difficulty doing puff stitches, which they can be a pain, you can do this with double crochets or triple crochets. So I'll show how to do it with the puff stitches, and then when we get a little further along, I'll do some double crochet ones just to show the difference. I don't have double crochet in this example. This is a 4-row repeat starting on the 3rd row. This row of pumpkins is the 3rd row. You've got 2 rows here. I think it's 2 rows. Yeah. There's 2 rows that set up your foundation here at the bottom, and then everything else is a 4-row repeat. You just alternate that until the length that you want. And you can change your colors like I did here. You can make, because pumpkins aren't always orange. They do come in yellows and whites and different shades. So that pumpkin wasn't formed that well, so that one's a little flat. But they are 3-dimensional. You can kind of see underneath the pumpkins there. So they do curve up. There's a right and a wrong side. This is the right side. That is the wrong side. And the unique thing about this, when you do the rows 3, 4, I think it's rows 3 through, let me double check. when you do rows 3 through 7 for the main repeat, you don't turn your work. So this is kind of almost like Tunisian, but not. That's the only reason, the only way it's like Tunisian. You always start right. If you're right-handed, you go right to left, right to left, right to left. So you stop and then you start at the right again. If you're left-handed, obviously you do it the opposite. So we're going to do the pumpkin patch stitch. So everybody hop on the hay wagon, and we're going to take you down to the patch to go pick some pumpkins. Alright, this is not my pattern. This is from the YouTube channel Mushyy, Mushyyy. I didn't name it. It's not my channel. So that is where I got it from. I think that's the only place online that I've seen it. I don't even think there's a written pattern. So I kind of had to transcribe it for myself. And I think there is a variation of this done as in the round, not really the round, but like a it can go around like a cup or a mug or whatever. Hey there, Clay Miko. How are you today? Well, sure, I already spoke to you today, so I know how you were earlier, but alrighty. Again, this is a simple 4-row repeat, but we have to establish the first 2 rows before the repeat starts. That makes sense. First 2 rows are like a foundation. Again, it's just to set up here at the bottom, and then the repeat doesn't start till row 3. Okay, for this, you already have that. You already have that. Oh yes. Okay. Yes, I already know how you are. Well, things could have changed. Foundation for this pattern is a little confusing. It's a lot of numbers. So the foundation is you chain 9, then you do a multiple of 6 into your desired length, and then you chain 2. No, it's confusing. So we're going to chain 9. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If anybody's crocheting along, let me know, and I will slow it down. Again, when we do this, the pumpkins are made with 5 puff stitches in one space. If you have trouble with puff stitches, there is a variant that uses double crochets, or you could use triple crochets. So after I show about 2 rows, then we will do a row with the double crochets for anybody who has trouble with puffs. You're not tonight and exhausted, have no desire to pick up the hook. That's fine. Hey there, Llama. How are you? So I got my 9 chains. That's what you start with. And then the repeat for your length is a multiple of 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. That's as far as I'm going to make mine. So we had 9, then multiples of 6, and then you're going to add 2 extra chains. I haven't figured out the thinking about why it's counted that way. It is what it is. It was a wild Sunday. Okay, is that a good thing or a bad thing? So like I said, I got my 9. I did 24, which is a multiple of 6, and then 2 more. Sue, you said you're going to sleep. Well, if you're going to sleep, don't let me keep you awake. Sleep is important. So row number 1, we're going to double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook and all of the other chains on the hook. So I'm going to yarn over and count back 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. and we're going to double crochet in the 4th chain, and then the remaining chains all get doubles. You can sleep better with background noise. With my voice droning on, you can sleep through anything then. So all we're doing is we're just putting doubles into our chain. And I'm using the same color as what I'm going to use for the stem of the pumpkin. Well, basically, too long didn't read. Our washing machine broke. We hauled it down 3 flights of stairs to the car. I got real nice bruises and sore muscles. Oh, no. Oh, no. Sorry that you got bruised and that you're sore. That does not sound like fun. And you had to carry it down 3 flights. Ugh. Okay. And I know this might be a little difficult to see because I'm using a dark green yarn. I thought I heard something out the window. But I didn't want to use a pastel color on my pumpkins. And my rainy day funds have gone towards a new one. Fun, fun, fun. And right there is the link to the video for this stitch. And anytime if you want the link and it's not there in the chat, you can type !pumpkin and up will come. And again, any of the other patterns I've ever shown on stream for the almost year that I've been streaming, if any questions on any of them, you can always get in contact with me if you want to find the original source or if they have a written pattern. Not all of these have a written pattern. I won't give out the written pattern that I've transcribed. I will direct you towards the source that I got the pattern from. Like this pattern here does not have a written pattern. I would direct you towards their video, just because it's not my pattern. Alrighty. So I did double crochets the entire length. Pretty basic, pretty simple. Round number 2 is the only time in this pattern that you're going to chain and turn. You're not a fan of video patterns? Yeah, I have an issue. Well, not an issue. I don't really like them when they don't have written instructions, even on stream. If on their and I don't do this myself, but on their video, if they've got at the top, like it'll say, okay, do this or whatever, like written out, and they're still talking about it, I'm okay with that. So it's not as difficult to follow. But I thought this was too cute of a pattern not to try to figure out and actually do it. So there's our double crochets. Now, like I said, this is the only time we're going to chain and turn. All the other rows we're going to end at the end of the row and then go back to the beginning and start again. So this one we're going to chain 3 and turn. And now we're going to chain 3 more. 1, 2, 3. So it's a total of 6 chains. We're going to skip 2 stitches, and in the 3rd stitch we're going to put in a single crochet. Then all the way across we're going to chain 3, skip 2, and in the 3rd do a single. That's the entire repeat for this row. So you're going to chain 3, skip 2, and in the third, do a single. So you're making these large holes, and that is what we're going to be stitching in our pumpkins into. And there's actually, we're going to work into the spaces, not all of them, like every other one's going to get a pumpkin, the middle one's going to get something different. Hey there, Fairy Dust. Throw is officially finished. I saw briefly the picture. I haven't really looked at it. I was kind of running a little late on stream today, getting things ready. But from what I saw, it looked great. When we later on in the stream, we'll pull it up and share some stuff from Discord. So I will definitely take a closer look at it. So again, we're going to chain 3, skip 2, and in the third, we're going to do a single. We're going to do this to the very end. And the very last stitch, we're going to do something different to finish it off. So you go till you get to the very end. So you're going to chain 3, skip 2, and in the third, do a single. And if your foundation count was correct at the beginning and you did all your stitches right, when you end, you should have the numbers work out. So all the spaces are the same. So we're going to see if I got the right count. So at the end here, we should have 2 double crochets and the turning chain, which we do, and I know it's difficult to see. So when you get to the end here, you're going to chain 3, and then we're going to double crochet into the turning chain, into the top of the turning chain. So that is row number 2. Now you can't really see it because A, it's dark, and the stitches are kind of hidden. Throw is gorgeous. I have to frog some of mine. I still messed up where the second V rows. I'm so frustrated with it right now. I hate that. I hate it when you work on a thing and you get to a point and you get frustrated. So that is row number 2. And what we're going to do with at the end of row number 2, okay, I was mistaken. I spoke wrong. We are going to chain here and turn. I think that's the last time that we're going to do that. At the end here, we're going to change colors. So let me backtrack. Let me do that double crochet again. And before I finish off the stitch, I'm going to join my orange. So we're going to start the pumpkins on this coming row. So I'm going to join, pull it tight, and I'm going to cut my green. I'll work through it at some point, just working on my poncho more than anything else. Yep, it'll be there for when you're ready. Okay, so I've joined my orange, and we're going to chain 6 and turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and turn. We're now going to start our pumpkins. In our first space that we made, we're going to put in a single crochet. We're now going to chain 3, and then I crocheted some coasters today. We'll mail them for a friend's birthday. Very, very nice. Were those the leaf ones that you put in Discord? I briefly saw that one too. Very, very cute. Alright, to recap, I chained up 6, turned, and in our first space, I did a single crochet, and then I chained 3. In our next space is we're going to put our first pumpkin. We're going to put in 5 puff stitches in this space. The puffs are made up of 4, technically they're half double crochet, or double crochet puffs, I guess you would call them. So again, to do a puff, you're going to yarn over, and you're going to go in, pull up a loop, and you're going to pull it up somewhat tall. So there's 1. We're not going to finish it off. That's 1. We're going to do this 3 more times. Yarn over, go in, pull up a loop. That's 2. Yarn over, go in, pull up a loop. That's 3. And again, pull up tall. That's 3. Yarn over, go in, pull up a loop. That's 4. Then yarn over and go through all of them except the very last loop. So you have 2 loops on the hook. And then yarn over through both. So that is my 1 puff. And move it over. You're going to put in 4 more in that space. Yarn over, pull up a loop, pull up tall, so that's 1. Yarn over, bring up a loop, pull up tall, that's 2. Yarn over, go in, bring up a loop, that's 3. Yarn over, go in, bring up a loop, that's 4. Yarn over through all of them except the last one, and then yarn over through both. So there's 2 puffs. These coasters are adorable. Fairy Dust says at Claymaker it's a bit of complicated pattern. You'll get there. There were 3 or 4 times I had lost a stitch somewhere and had to sneak in an increase in. Also a spot where I accidentally did 2 extra popcorns. Just left those in for character. Yeah. Make it work for you. Thank you. I've made several for myself. Very, very cute. No, you're not the only one. We all make mistakes in our. Thank you for the follow, Yarny Knots. I appreciate it. If you're new here, I'm the Crafty Cub. Mostly crochet, but in the future I will be doing other crafts, and a lot of it, like we're doing tonight, we're teaching a stitch. Again, this stitch is not my pattern. This is the pumpkin patch stitch from the YouTube channel Mushyy, Mushyyy. Super, super adorable. Again, thank you for the follow. I stream about 4 or 5 nights a week. Mostly educational. Sometimes I'll just sit here and just work on a blanket like we do on Saturdays where we do our Project Linus blankets. We usually have a theme. Right now, this week is pumpkins. Most of September we did woodland. We did some mushrooms. We did leaves. We did forest critters. Coming up next week is October. We're going to start our Halloween in October, Mondays and Tuesdays through October. We'll be doing spooky Halloween stitches, patterns, squares. None of them are my patterns. They're cute ones I found on the interwebs. And then on Thursdays, we have a special guest now. Thursdays is our Throwback Thursdays, where we do vintage patterns. Things basically from at least the 50s, 1950s on back. Mostly we've done stuff from the 30s and 40s. And we have a special permanent guest, permanent host on Thursdays is a dear old lady. Her name is Granny Karen Cakes Marino. She's feisty. She doesn't take a lip off of anybody. So if you're in here on Thursdays, mind your P's and Q's. So she has agreed to help me out on Thursdays. So definitely check her out. Fairy Dust says, Claymaker, I do believe I'll avoid patterns with popcorns for a while. Oh, I love doing popcorn stitches. I don't care if I've done tons of them. Like that Project Linus blanket I did. Had lots of popcorns in it. I love them. But again, it was only 2 rows every 10th row, I guess. There were 2 rows. Wonderful. Thank you for the warm welcome and info. I love Halloween and vintage patterns. I'm super excited to be here. We're happy to have you. Real quick, let me see if I can find a vintage pattern. What did she do with it? Oh, I know what she did with it. Give me 1 second. This is what Granny Karen Cakes Marino did on Thursday. A cute star motif doily, I guess you would call it. It's little. This was about, let's see how wide we have it. And this is in size 10 crochet thread with a, what she use? It's a 2.75 hook, so it's not as small as I could be. And it's about 6.5 inches in diameter. So we show off all of that type of stuff. I've done some. Granny is now taking over on Thursdays to do all of our vintage patterns. We also will do mystery patterns. She hasn't done one yet. She's willing to do it. And a lot of these she learned when the patterns were new. So she might be familiar with some of these. We also have done... This was a mystery pattern. We've got a book of crochet edgings from the 40s. And we pick it at random. And I tried to decipher it. Now she's going to decipher it. And a whole bunch of other different little edgings. We've also... This was not a mystery. This was a doily we did. So we've got mixture of vintage and more contemporary or modern patterns, like the one that I'm doing right here, which is a more contemporary pattern. I like popcorns, hate puffs. Yeah. When I found this and I was testing it out, or watching it and then testing it out, I'm thinking, Claymako's not gonna like this one, because it's pretty much all puffs. So I did my 2 puffs here. I'm going to put 3 more puffs into this space. But again, there is a version of this that you can do it with doubles. The key with puffs are to make them loose. So and this is a yarn eater, because it is. Puffs are padded. They're not necessarily tall. They're thick. They're also a little bit wide, but yeah, they definitely use up some yarn. So there's 3. And that's number 4. And then we get 1 more in there. Yes, they are thick with a lot of C's. So we've got our 5 puff stitches, and now we're going to chain 3. Gotta go, Stick Toddler. All. I hope she feels better. We chain 3, and then in our next space we do a single, and then chain 3, and then in this space we do our 5 puffs. That is the pattern until we get to the very end. When we get to the very end, I'll show you what we do. Okay, that puff was a little bit... We're going to redo that puff. That puff was not a good one. There's 1. There's 2. Third one. Let me pull out some slack. Number 4. And that's number 5. Again, we're doing 5 puffs in that chain space. And we're going to chain 3. The next chain space gets a single. And then chain 3. Oops, come on. Come on. The next chain space gets the 5 puffs. Again, if anybody has any questions about crochet, it doesn't have to be anything I'm doing right now. Any questions in general, feel free to ask. I'm always willing to put down what I'm doing, pick up another ball of yarn and a hook, and try to show and demonstrate and possibly answer your questions. There's 1. I also have a YouTube channel for those that are new. The YouTube channel, so all of my streams are on the YouTube channel as soon as I'm done streaming. So they're unedited, uncut, so you can see past streams. You can always play it back, slow it down, speed it up if you want to learn one of the things I've done in the past. I also have a Discord. We've got a small little community over there. We post our projects we are working on are finished. We ask questions. There's a bunch of resources over there for other tips and tricks and YouTube channels and other informative stuff. So if you're interested in that, again, if you want the YouTube channel, type !YouTube. That'll get the link. If you want the link to the Discord, !Discord. There's our 3rd puff. There's our 4th. Got to get enough slack on this. And we're going to do our 5th. And again, chain 3. The next space, in the space, gets a single. And then chain 3. So we're going to put a pumpkin here. That's going to be a single, a pumpkin, and at the end we're going to end with a single crochet, right? I think so. Yes. I'm like, my math better work out. So we're going to do another pumpkin, which is again our 5 puffs. Why am I doing double crochets? I think it's because the Project Linus blanket I'm working on has got clusters of 4, or double crochet 4 togethers. So I've been in that mind frame, I guess. That's number 2. It's 3. I lost count of how many times I did that. That's the beauty about crochet. You can always start the stitch over. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we got our 4 puffs. We need 1 more puff in that same space. Just move it on over. Give it room. There we go. Chain 3. The next one gets a single. Chain 3. We're going to do our last popcorn in this space. So not the very last space, but the second to last is where the last popcorn goes. I mean, not popcorn. Puff. I don't want to confuse everybody. We were talking about popcorn stitches earlier. So these are puffs. second one. There's our third. That's number 4. What is everybody working on? I know Fairy Dust finished that throw, and Llama made those coasters. Okay, so we did our last popcorn, and at the very end here, we're going to chain 3. We're going to single crochet into that space, and then we're going to chain 3 again. And then the top of our 3 chains, there were 6 there actually, we're going to find the third chain, 1, 2, 3, and into that we're going to put a double crochet. So that is the end of row 3, because that will match here, because at the beginning we chained up 6, so that counts as a double crochet in 3 chains, so they match. When you get to the end here, you're going to chain 1, we're going to cut, pull through, and we're not going to flip, we're not going to turn, we're going to go back to the beginning chain. And yes, it's common to have this curve, their example curved, but when we do this next row, it'll form the pumpkins, and that will help ease the curving of the work. So we're going to go back to the very beginning. We're not flipping. We're going to go back to the beginning row, and we're going to go back to our green color, or whatever color you're going to use for your stem. Okay. And we're going to find the third chain from when we started. We had a total of 6 there. 1, 2, 3, and into that third chain, we're going to join. When we join, after we join, we're going to chain 7. So you can do that. You can join and chain 7, or I'm going to do a standing double crochet, and then I'll chain 4. Because the height of a double crochet is about 3 chains. So again, we're going to need a total of 7. So that's 3, and then we're going to have 4 more. Fixing a rip seam on a duvet cover and mentally preparing for work. That sounds, I don't want to diminish your work, but it sounds kind of non-creative. I guess that's the word. I mean, I understand things need to be fixed. And not everything has to be creative. I get it. Okay, so I'm going to start with a standing double. So I made a slip knot, yarned over, and I'm holding it with my finger, and I'm finding the third, if I can see this, the third chain up is where I'm going to join my standing double. I did my standing double, so that is the same as 3 chains, roughly the same, and I'm going to chain 4 more. You can always, like I said, join and then chain up 7. I would dump that job in a heartbeat if I had any other option. No, I get it, I get it. Oh wait, the duvet cover's for work? Alright, let me take a... Okay. So we've got our basically 7 chains. So we got our chain section, and then not in this space, I don't think. Let me double... No, just an old one of mine. Still has some use for it, just needs a bottom seam fix. Oh, gotcha. Okay. So not in this space, but the next space, we're going to put in a single crochet. So we did essentially our 7 chains. In this space did a single crochet. Now we're going to gather up the pumpkin and form it into a pumpkin shape. So we're going to do single crochet 4 together in the tops of each of our pumpkins. So we're not going to go into the first one. We're going to go basically in between the first 2 puffs. There's like a loop here. There's like the stitch. So go in, pull up a loop, 2 on the hook. Go in the next, pull up a loop, 3 on the hook. The next, pull up a loop, 4 on the hook. And then in the last one, 5 on the hook. And then we're going to yarn over and pull through all of them. And then we're going to pull tight. Pull tight. So hopefully you have a yarn that's not going to break. Pull tight and chain up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's going to form. When we go to do the rest of it, it will form into a pumpkin. And now we're going to do a triple crochet into that very first chain that we did here. So at the top of our pumpkin, we're going to do a triple. That's our stem. Now chain 3. And we have two spaces here. In the first space, we're going to do a single crochet. Then we're going to chain 4. And then in our next space, do another single crochet. And that's the repeat. So now we're going to do single crochet 4 together. So go into the first one, bring up a loop. Next one, bring up a loop. The third and the fourth. Yarn over through all 5 loops. Pull tight and chain up 4. Then we're going to do a triple into that very first chain, the very top of our pumpkin. That formed the stem. And now chain 3. In this first space here, do a single, chain 4, and in the next space, do a single, and do the next pumpkin. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yarn over through all 5, pull tight, and chain up 4. Then do a triple into the top, that very first chain at the top of our pumpkin. And then chain 3. First space gets a single, chain 4. Whoops. The next space gets a single. And then continue forming the pumpkin. Yarn over through all 5, pull tight, and chain 4. Triple into that very first chain that you made of that group. And then chain 3. Single, chain 4, single. And you do the singles in these spaces. So the stem row goes pretty quick because it's a lot of, basically it's a lot of chains and singles. I mean there is the stitch that we're doing here, that we're forming the pumpkin and the stem. It's not too difficult to do. The thing to remember is when you gather them all up, pull tight right here. So I've got a lot of tension on that. That will help form it into a pumpkin. It'll gather them up. Okay, when we get to the end here, we're still going to chain 3 and we're going to single crochet. Come on. So we single crochet, we're going to chain 4. And now what we're going to do is we're going to front post double crochet around this stitch here at the end. So front post double crochet, you're going to yarn over. You're going to go around the post, so the post is in front of your hook. Bring up a loop, and then finish the double crochet. When we finish the double crochet, we're now going to chain one, and we're going to cut our yarn, pull through, and tighten up. That was row number 4. I know my pumpkins aren't really formed yet, but when we add more rows to it, they'll form better, and you can always try to cinch them up or form them by hand. So we've got one little row, and I know this is not really liking the orange. There's red in orange, so it's not liking the camera's not liking that color. So that is row 4. So our repeat is a 3, 4, 5, and 6. Yeah. So now we're ready to do our next row. And to change it up, so you can see a little better, I'm going to use some yellow. So put the green away. And I'm going to get out my yellow. So this is row number 5. And we are going to join into the 3rd chain or into the top of the standing double. And I don't know how well you can see that. That was my standing double. Again, we're not flipping. We're ending, going back to the beginning. So this is, you're not doing a lot of flipping with this. So we're going to join at the top of that stitch, either if it's your 3rd chain up or, like what I did, a standing double. Into that, we're going to chain up 3 or do a standing double. So I'm going to do the standing double because I really like the standing double. And it makes it an easy way, like right here, to find where I'm going to put the stitch. So we're going to do our standing double. And sometimes it just makes a little bit of a nicer edge if you've got that standing double. So we got our standing double or chain 3. And into this big space right here, we're going to do our 5 puff stitches. Because our pumpkins are going to be alternating. So you're not going to have a pumpkin over a pumpkin. You're going to have a pumpkin over a space between the pumpkins. So we're going to put a pumpkin right here in this first space. And you can see there's a space here, and then you've got the stem in a space, but then immediately to the left of it, you've got a space. So this space is where we're going to put our pumpkin. Our pumpkin's not going to go in where the stem is. It's going to go where this chain 4 is where we're going to put our pumpkins. So we do the same thing. It's a 5 puff form, I guess you would call it. So you're going to put 5 puffs in there to form it. So there's one, that's 2, 3, and 4. So that's 1 puff. And I'm going to put in 4 more. Number 2. That's number 3. And yeah, it might look like it's stretching, but again, when you form them, they're going to help not have so much stretch left and right to it. So we've got 3 puffs. There's our 4th one. And there's our 5th one. So that's our first pumpkin. And then what we're going to do is at the top of our stem, so we had our chain 4 and a triple crochet. Right there at the top, we're going to put a single crochet right at the top of the stem. And now, not into this space, but into this space here, we're going to put in our 5 more puffs. And that puff that puff was a little, wasn't pulling up enough. Key again is to pull up, not to have it real tight. It's to key up, not key up, pull up. 1, 2, 3, and there's the 4th part of it. So there's 2. That's our 3rd puff. That's our 4th. And there's our 5th. Alrighty, into the top of the stem, we're going to do a single, and then not here where the stem is, but this next space in between the 2 pumpkins is where we're going to put our next pumpkin. That's 1 puff. 2 puffs. That was the 3rd. Number 4. And it's number 5. It's not really a difficult pattern, it's just trying to find where all the stitches go. Whoopsies. Don't lose it, don't lose it. Okay. We saved that puff. I almost had to redo the entire puff. Welcome back. She's washed up and almost in bed for the evening. Hope she feels better. Well, we're almost done this row, and then I'm going to do a row of the stems. And then after I do that row, I'm going to do a row of pumpkins, but the version without the puff stitches, with the double crochets. So, for those that have an issue with the puffs, you could still do this. The 4th one. There's the 5th one. Inhaled some popsicle juice and made her sick. Aw. Alright, we're going to have an ad here starting in about a minute. I'm going to work all the way down to my last pumpkin, I'll put the pumpkin in, and then I will hold off and show you how to how to finish off the row. So I'm going to work until the very last pumpkin. So don't go anywhere, everybody. I will be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for sitting through the ad. Alrighty, so I finished my last puff for the 5 puff section there. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do a front post double crochet around this chain, or it's actually, no, it's a double crochet we did there. So around that double crochet, we're going to do a front post double. Real simple. I'm going to chain one and cut, whoopsies, and cut and then pull through. And that is row number 5. And again, you can form these once you've made them. We're still going to add the stems to this row. And again, once I'm done the stem row, I'm going to do another row of orange pumpkins, but with a double crochet version instead of the puff version. So we're going to go back to our stem color. And at the top of this, either chain 3 or standing double, you're going to join there. And you're either going to join with, you're just going to do a regular join and chain up 7, or you can do what I'm doing, a standing double and then chain 4. Let me get it all ready, and you're going to go right into the top of that. And that's where you're going to join. Oops. Oh. Would help if I crocheted with the working yarn and not my tail. I tried to crochet with it. Yeah, that's not going to work. You're not going to get far. I swear this is not the first time I've ever crocheted. So there's your standing double, or chain 3, and then chain 4. And you're essentially going to do the exact same thing you did for row 4. You're just going to start now, and you're going to gather up your pumpkin, and you're going to do single crochet 4 together. So in between the puffs, there's a little stitch there. Bring up a loop. So it's 1, 2, 3, and 4. You have 5 loops on the hook. Yarn over through all 5. Pull really tight. Use a yarn that's not going to break easily. Pull tight, chain up 4. And then we're going to triple crochet into that very first chain we made to form the stem. Chain 3. And then we got these 2 spaces. You got a space here and a space here. The first space gets a single. Chain 4. And the next space gets a single. That's all there is to it. We come to a pumpkin and we need to gather it up, so single crochet 4 together. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yarn over through all 5 loops, pull tight, and then chain up 4. Triple crochet into the first chain you made of that group to form the stem, and then the chain 3, and then single, chain 4, single, doing your singles in the spaces between the pumpkins and the stem. There's the single, there's the chain 4, and there's the single. Pull tight, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm going to do my triple into the top of where that pumpkin was gathered. Work your way on down. Oh, come on. I lost the stitch. single. Come on. This stitch pattern would look really good just a few rows. I wouldn't really do the whole project in this, but like 2 rows of pumpkins, including the stems, would probably look really cute as a hem on a sweater, or cuffs, or the brim of a hat, if you want to do like a fall type looking thing. Cute as around the brim of the beanie for a kid. Pull through all of them. Or even just do a length of what we're doing here. I would say a headband. That's going to be a wide headband. Maybe just 1 row of pumpkins. That's a cute little fall headband. Be very warm. Be very warm because lots of yarn in these puffs. But like I said, when I finish this row, we're going to do a row of the double crochet variety. And the stitch is the same, it's just how we form the pumpkins. All the other things are the same. Okay, yarn over through all of that, pull tight. 3, 4. And do our little triple. Alrighty, here at the end, we're going to chain 3. Hey, there's Z-Man Crafts. I'm pretty good. How are you? Just showing how to do this cute, and again, I need to form the pumpkins better. This cute pumpkin patch stitch. Again, it's from the YouTube channel Mushyy, M-U-S-H-Y-Y. It's a cute 4-row repeat. So get done, we chain 3, and now we're going to do a front post around the double crochet there. And I'm going to sneeze. Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that. So I did my front post double. I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to cut and pull through and cinch up. I love this stitch too. Those of you who are not familiar, everybody check out Z-Man Crafts. They are a fiber artist. I know you knit. I think you crochet. Do you cross stitch? I want to say I've seen you cross stitch, but I could be wrong. Most things I've seen you do is knitting. Really great streamer over there. So definitely everybody give Z-Man a look. Alrighty. So that is the pumpkin patch stitch. It's rows. Knit, crochet, spin, yes. Cross stitch, diamond painting. Yeah, I do remember, was it last night you mentioned something about you had some stuff to spin, but didn't know when you were going to get to it. Okay. So, that was the repeat. It's a 4-row repeat, starting on rows 3, 4, 5, and 6. Oh, no, you're welcome. No problem at all. Now I'm going to show you how to do the same stitch here, but if you have an issue with puff stitches, because I know there's some of us who don't like puff stitches, they can be difficult. I'm going to show the variation of doing it, but with double crochets. So I'm going to switch back to my orange. And we're now going to join either in your third chain, or in my case, I've got a standing double. I got to refer back to this real quick. So in that third chain, we're going to join, and then either chain 3 when you join, or join with a standing double crochet. I'm going to start with a standing because that's my preferred way. You got tails everywhere, but that could be weaved in at the end. I'm one that weaves the tails in at the end. I don't weave them in as I go. So there's your standing double, or you can start with a chain 3. We're now going to single crochet. Wait, do we do that? Wait a minute. Okay. Chain 3. Yeah, okay. So we've joined. We're going to single crochet into the top of the stem. I got to always refer back to what I'm doing here. And then instead of doing your 5 puffs in this space here, let me zoom in. Instead of doing your 5 puffs, we're going to do 8 double crochets into this. So kind of like a fan, because they're all going in the same space. It's a bigger space than a lot of fan or shell stitches, but you just do 8 doubles. So 1, or you can do triples too. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to single crochet into the top of the stem. We're going to skip this space. And then this space here, we're going to do 8 doubles again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. This also works up quicker because puff stitch do take some time to form because they're so involved. Single on the top of the stem, skip the immediate space, and then in this 4 chain space is where you're going to do your 8 doubles. Seven, and 8. And you're going to do this all the way down to the end. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm only going to do this row and then the stem row on this. I'm not going to spend too much time on the rest of this, but you kind of get the idea of how this works up. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going to do our single into our stem. Chain 3. At the end, we're going to chain 3. And then we're going to do a front post double around the front post double from the row below. I'm going to cut, pull through. My tail's a little short, but that's fine, just a sample. So again, as you work it, it's going to flatten out, but then you can always come back and fluff up your pumpkins. That's what happens when you do the puff stitches. Sometimes they get flattened. When we do it, when I add the stems to this, they're probably going to cooperate a little more because they're double crochets. Alright, we're going to switch back to our stem color. Let me just double check something real quick. Into that third chain or that standing double, we're going to join. And you're either going to join with 7 chains or a standing double and then chain 4. I let go of the loop before I should have. So there's our standing double. We're going to chain 4. And then into the space here, we're going to do our single crochet. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do a single crochet 8 together. So in all, actually it's 7 together, not 8. Even though there's 8 stitches there, we're not going to go into the first one. So in each of these stitches, you're going to pull up a loop. So we got 2 on the hook, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, there is 8. I did go in the all of 8. Duh. And then yarn over through all. Oh, there's 8 in the hook. I was counting wrong. So go through all of those, pull tight, chain up 4. Without dropping the loop off of the hook. 1, 2, 3, 4. Triple into the first chain that you made. And then chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Single into the space between the pumpkin and the stem. Chain 4. Single into the space between the stem and the pumpkin. And you're going to do the same thing. You're going to skip the first stitch, and each of the next one, you're going to pull up a loop and do a single crochet 7 together. Yarn over through all of that, pull tight, and chain up 4. And then triple into that stitch, that very first chain, and continue along. Chain 3, single into the space, chain 4, single into this space, and then single crochet 7 together into your pumpkin. That is what forms it into a pumpkin shape and gives it the stem on top, or the bottom part of the stem is right there. It's key to pull it tight there so it'll gather everything. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. Single, whoops. Single, 2, 3, 4, single, 2, 3, and 7. tight. This would not be good for a roving style yarn because when you pull it tight, the roving yarn would snap. And I wouldn't necessarily use a chenille yarn because sometimes if you pull real tight on a chenille yarn, they'll break too, depending on the yarn. Seven, pull tight, and then we're going to finish the row. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. I'm going to single into that, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 into this last space, do a single. And then we're going to do a front post double around that double there on the edge. Alrighty, let's form these from the back side. Pop these pumpkins up the way they are supposed to go. And my tension was a little loose on that pumpkin. But you get the idea. Actually, you get more definition on these. Technically, those look more like the strawberry that we did back in June, but it's orange. So, they could be pumpkins. So there's different versions. I like both. I like the puff, and I also like the double crochet. Again, you can also do this in triple crochet. They'd be a little bit taller. That is the pumpkin patch stitch. Super, super cute and fun. Okay. I was going to do a... Where's the hook? I was going to do a 3D... Oh, no. Let me check. Could have used that. Anyway, I was going to do the 3D stackable pumpkins tonight, but I think we're going to do that tomorrow. I don't have a picture of it yet. I do have to get a picture. So let me move the pumpkin patch. Let me zoom on out here. This is the stackable pumpkins. When we do this tomorrow in stream, I'm going to show how to do the small one that goes on top, which I haven't made yet. But it's the same thing for these two. It's just your stitch counts and your stitch counts and your number of rows will be different. Will be more for the bigger one, and then so on. So we're going to do these tomorrow. And then I'm planning possibly doing a Wednesday stream. I normally don't stream on Wednesdays. We will do this braided pumpkin. This is going to take some time because this is a very involved pattern. Very involved because of the cabling that's involved. Yes, you can do cabling in crochet. And I don't know how well it's showing up if you can see the cabling that's here. I should have done a different color yarn, but it adds a lot of texture. So I think we're going to end up doing a Thursday, not a Thursday. Well, Granny Karen will be here Thursday, but a Wednesday stream for this. So we are venturing into the world of amis, because technically that's an amigurumi. I guess it's not super, super cute like a lot of amis usually are, but it's related. So I think we're just going to switch gears and we're going to work on some of the Project Linus blanket. Yes, we worked on it on Saturday, and I still haven't forgot about the other Project Linus blanket that I have, the Aiden's radiating blanket. Let me see. Oh, I gotta move that. Wait a minute. Nope, 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 nope. Hold on, why is this thing... Oh. This one here, the one with the different colors, we will be coming back to that. I'm just needing a break from it because there's a lot of counting. A lot of counting. And this one here, you don't count as much. You just count your rows pretty much and your chain stitches. So I measured this. I was working on this earlier today. I've gotten more progress on it. And right now where I'm at, this is called the Summer Lace Blanket. It is a free pattern on Ravelry, and let me enable that, and let me disable that, and let me do the other thing in the thing. Come on. Let me check something real quick. Where did I put it? I gotta get this web link. Copy. Oh. Okay, that's what we can do. Computers, they always don't want to work the way I want it to work. Okay. There we go. I had to update the title of my stream and put the link for this. This is the Summer Lace Blanket on Ravelry. It's a free pattern. It is a center out, working in the round blanket. They call it the Summer Lace Cotton Blanket. I'm not doing it in cotton. If you want the pattern for this, and the command is, where's the command? Exclamation point Summer Lace, all one word. So let me see where how far I've gotten. You can make it as large as you want. You start and you keep going to your desired size, and then you do a border. So I'm at 21 and a half. My chapter of Project Linus, and those of you who don't know what Project Linus is, let me enable that also. It is a nonprofit in the US and Canada that accepts brand new handmade blankets, knitted, crocheted, quilted, etc. for children in need ages 0 to 18, either if they're severely ill, homeless, traumatized. So it is a good cause. At least my chapter only accepts non-allergenic fibers, so like cotton, acrylic, polyester, that type of thing. They don't take any wool. So it's a pretty good cause. So I'm not teaching how to do this. I'm just going to be working on it. This is some baby yarn that I've had for a long time. Okay. I think I had a little knot in it. Oh, that's fine. I still have to take pictures of the yarn that I did receive from Project Linus last week. I need to lay them all out and take a picture, and then I'll upload that to the Discord. There's a bunch. I still have some of that yarn I have to go through. It's a lot of novelty eyelash yarn. But I plan on using a lot of it, and actually all of it, or majority of it, I should say, will be going back into blankets for Project Linus. So these have kind of turned into my go-to projects when I have extra time after teaching a stitch. Always get some work done on these blankets. Again, I have a YouTube channel. All of my streams are uploaded to the channel when I'm done streaming, unedited. So you can watch past streams and see things that we've done over the past almost year. Beginning of December, I don't remember exact what day, I'd have to look it up, is going to be my stream anniversary. I don't think I'm doing anything special to celebrate it. I'm still in the planning phases for November and December streams. Come up with some ideas, at least for December. I've got a lot of them already earmarked. Some cute little motifs. And I think Granny Karen might have some other ideas up her sleeves for her streams in December also. Again, starting in the new year, we're going to be adding other crafts, namely cross stitch, embroidery. There was something else I was going to do, but I forgot what it was. I dug out my embroidery, needlepoint, whatever, wooden frame, and set it up. I got to test it out to see how well it's going to work with the camera setup, and we're going to try to make it work. And I've already pulled out some cross stitch, and I think there's even a needlepoint kit that we might work on. Well, there's a bunch of kits. I've also do some free form embroidery and show people how to do those types of stitches, decorative stitches. But I like this pattern for this blanket because it's not so much, you don't got to do a lot of thinking. It's a lot of repetition, a lot of the same thing. which can be boring at times, but something that you kind of just like zone out, get into the rhythm of it. But yeah, like I said, we're going to do the pumpkins, continue the pumpkins this week, and I think Granny Karen has got a mystery pattern. It's her first mystery pattern here on the stream because it's actually her second stream, well, official stream. So we'll see how well she can decipher those edging patterns. And we might learn more about her family. She's got a very interesting family, I guess you would say that would be the word. So definitely check out her on Thursday evenings. 6 p.m. Eastern time on Thursdays. I stream 6 p.m. Eastern. Also, on, well, from October now, it's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. Those are my scheduled streams. And again, Granny's got Thursdays at that time. Oops. Yarn split. The stitch. 2, 3, and 4. Oh, we never showed Discord. I'm sorry about that. Just slipped my mind. Alrighty. We got a couple pictures that we're going to show on Discord. I'm going to learn how to do the streaming thing at some point. Alrighty. Here's Llama's headphone sprout and coasters that they made. I think this was supposed to be a gift that they sent off to them, to a friend. So, that is super, super cute and adorable. I love, 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 love the cute little picos around the edge. That, I think, is, I mean, I love all of it, but I think the picos is one of my favorite parts of this. Alrighty. And then, this is Fairy Dust finished. He finished the Aaron Hart's throw blanket. That's the one with all the popcorns and the V and the lattice. Turned out beautiful there, Fairy Dust. Let me see, we have more pictures. Love, love, love those. this lattice, this, I don't know what you would call this section here. That part I really love. I mean, I love all of it. And then, and then the V's here in the center, with thin rows of V's in between that separate it. Great, great work. And I think that's all we have so far. Hey there, Upcycly. How are you? If you're not familiar with Upcycly, definitely check out their channel. They do a lot of recycling and upcycling. They take things that would normally be thrown away or recycled and put out to the street or whatever, and they turn it into treasures. I know you do a lot of stuff with Plarn. You do paper where you take like magazines and roll them up, and you've made coasters, and you've made little baskets, and they also crochet. They are working on this project as a gift for their your stepdaughter, right? It's a gift using yarn from her mother-in-law, and each square, there's like 60-some squares, and then each square is a different stitch pattern, and then she's going to piece them together to form it into a blanket. It's going to be beautiful. And it's a good way, and I was talking to her, that it's a good way of practicing new stitches you're never familiar with. So it's kind of like a sampler type project. Listen through the new album, an artist I like recently published. Nice, Llama. I always like listening to new music. Fairy Dust says, yeah, I felt an enormous sense of accomplishment once I finished my last stitch and weaved it ends. Yeah, that blanket was definitely a used a lot of different stitches. It probably like tested your skills. And I'm good, Upcycly. I showed, I didn't show, you haven't seen. Well, that was my original sample. I showed you that sample this morning, but here is the sample I did tonight on stream of the pumpkin patch stitch. Zoom on in. So, the orange row and the yellow row are the ones with the puffs. There are 5 puff stitches in each space. But then this row here, if you have trouble doing puff stitches, because they can be a challenge, even for me, these are all done with double crochets. So there's a variation you can do with double. You can even do triple crochets if you wanted a little bit taller. So that is the pumpkin patch stitch. I really, really enjoy this stitch. It's fun. It's a yarn eater if you do the puffs, but it's very, very festive. And I lost. Oh, the stitches are coming out. Stitches are coming out. What I'm working on now, let me zoom out. This is a blanket for Project Linus. This is called the Summer Lace. They call it the Summer Lace Cotton Blanket. I'm not using cotton. And it is start in the center and you grow it whatever size you want. So it's relatively mindless and still pretty. And it using up this thin yarn that I've had forever. And this yarn is probably, I think this would probably be a very thin DK weight, maybe a larger sport weight. So I'm using a little bit of a smaller hook. Well, not that small. I'm using a 4mm. So yeah, upcycling. I think I mentioned this morning when I was in your stream that yeah, I went and picked up a house dress for Granny Karen since she doesn't get out that much. So that's what I did this morning. And I gave it to her, and she said she loved it. So, I guess I did good. I'm trying to see this with the stitches I'm doing. Yes, she does. Again, if you want this pattern, if you're interested, it's a free pattern on Ravelry. Type in exclamation point summer lace. It'll come up throughout the chat. And related to Granny Karen, in November, Clay Miko and Northferry, they are taking me to Washington, D.C. to see a drag show. There's a lot of the drag queens, not all of them, but there's a bunch of drag queens from RuPaul's Drag Race from different seasons that are going to be there. It's a Christmas show. And I think I'm going to be nice. And I'm going to give my ticket to Granny Karen so Granny Karen can get out of the house and enjoy a show. So hopefully she'll enjoy that. Christmas candies are already in stores, and I'm just like, wow, yeah. I'm with you on that one. I mean, we haven't even gotten to Halloween. I mean, I don't know if Halloween's a big thing in Finland. It's a big deal here. September is barely over. Halloween is not really. Yeah, that I kind of figured that it wasn't really a thing. Here, it is pretty much the we do door-to-door candy gathering on Easter. Oh, yeah. Here, Easter we don't do door-to-door. Easter is more family-centered, or when it's candy, that's usually like the kids get the Easter baskets from the Easter Bunny. But the only like social interactive thing besides going to church would be like an Easter egg hunt for the kids. That's really the social interactive thing for Easter here in the U.S. Church egg hunts, or even just like community egg hunts, or heck, every year at the White House in D.C., I don't even know if they still do it. I know they've done it forever. They have an annual Easter egg hunt on the south. Was it the South Lawn? Yeah, the South Lawn of the White House. Where you can go and have your little ones get eggs. And in the area I grew up in, every Easter there's giant bonfires with a witch in it to protect the following seasons for good harvests. I've heard of that in a lot of northern European countries. I heard that is a common thing for those types of rituals. I guess it goes back to the pre-Christian religions. But here in the U.S., Halloween, I think, is the second most popular holiday to shop for. Either candies, presents, decorations. Like, when I was a kid, a lot of people didn't decorate their houses that much for Halloween. Nobody put up lights. A house here and there might have done like a haunted house type thing, or put out a scarecrow on their front porch. I think we did that. We like got old clothes and stuffed it and made a little scarecrow and make jack-o'-lanterns. But people go all out now for Halloween. They light displays and all the different decorations, and it's very common here. I mean, when I was a kid, Halloween was pretty much you dressed up at school. They would have like a party or a little parade or something. In elementary school, the we had a circular driveway in front of the school where the buses would drop off. It was a huge circular drive. Like, it had like lots and lots of very tall, mature trees. And then whatever day it was, depending on the calendar or whatever, whenever we had our little Halloween thing, like the last hour or two of the school day, there were no classes, and we'd all go out and parade around on the circular driveway, and then watch all the other classes and the other kids in the teachers' costumes. And then you came home, and then you got ready to go trick-or-treating, and I don't think we ever had like anybody who had like a Halloween party where the kids would come over and do. I don't think we ever had anything like that. We just pretty much went trick-or-treating. And I don't think I've ever had a store-bought costume. I mean, when I was older. But as a kid, everything was made at home. And we're going to have another ad break here in about a minute or so. This round, when I'm doing these little clusters, they are double crochet, 4 together. This takes forever. This is the rounds I don't like doing, but I like the finished look. Come on. Ah. Alrighty, I'll be back after this ad break. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Oh, wrong scene. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for sitting through the ad break. Lama says, did a bit of digging. The witch bonfires have pagan origin. In the door-to-door tradition, kids dressing up as witches, bunnies, etc., offering catkin-filled willow branches decorated with ribbons and feathers in exchange for sweets. This includes a short rhyme wishing happiness and health to the receiver of the willows. Oh, I like that. Yeah, I've always liked a lot of those Northern European folk, not folk, I shouldn't say folk, pagan rituals and um, the different things that they would practice, and I always thought that that was very interesting. And like how different cultures, heck, even how different cultures celebrate holidays around the world. Like Christmas. How Christmas is celebrated in um, even different parts of Europe. Like, isn't it Sweden where they have the oh, what's it called? It's the thing where they've got like the I'm gonna get it wrong. It's where they have like the wreath of the evergreen with the candles for like on their head. Um, yeah, but no, there's also a thing at Christmas time or right around Christmas. Maybe it's after Christmas. Maybe it's like Epiphany or whatever. I forgot what it's called. And like they wear like the white. It's not a robe, but it's very simple. Um, I forgot what that's called. Um, and again, this is Christmas. I know not everybody is Christian. I mean, I'm not Christian, but I do celebrate Christmas. Um, but any of the holidays, any of the seasons of however they celebrate their whatever they celebrate, even the pagan stuff and trying to count this and not miss a stitch. I also like learning about the reasons that we celebrate and how we celebrate different things, because there's a lot of things that are more modern Christian. Again, I don't want to use Christian, but like how things have changed from the old beliefs and the old rituals, and they have kind of gone into modern celebrations of things. Yes, yes, that's what it is. Yes. Lucia's Day, yeah. Saint Lucia or Saint, yeah. And four. I almost couldn't see what I was doing there. What I still don't understand, I mean, I kind of understand it, but it doesn't really make a lot of logical sense. At least here in the U.S. I mean, I'm certain it's in other countries too. At Easter time, we have Easter eggs. I understand, like, renewal, rebirth, and all that. And rabbits, the springtime, and they're fertile, and okay, I get that. But rabbits don't lay eggs. And why would you give an animal that hops around all the time a basket of eggs to carry? Those eggs are going to get broken. But no, I understand there's symbolism and all of that. But okay, got one more side of this round, and then I've got the easy rounds, which is all the chains. Those tend to go quickly on this. I think I'm going to keep going until this is about 30 by 30, and then I'm going to add there's actually two types of borders. There's the intricate border and then the simple one. Once again, this is going to Project Linus, and 3, 4. And my chapter has a minimum of 30 by 30. I want to get the minimum, and then I'll add more to it. And I got plenty of yarn. Haven't even looked how to do the two different borders on it. But it shouldn't be too difficult to do. 4. Coming down the end is near for this round. I'm still going to keep going, obviously, and I'm not ending the stream, but just trying to mark my progress as I go. Kind of mentally give myself a goal. We're almost there. But yeah, I hope everybody's having a good day, and if you're working on a project, hopefully there's no snafus or hiccups or issues with any of it, or if there is, they're minor. Literally dropped all of those loops. 2, 3, 4. Alrighty, we're ready to start the next round here soon. Find the stitch to join. Alrighty, move my stitch marker. Okay, 3 rows of these chain rows. Think it's time for me to take a shower and hop in bed. A slight headache. Oh, I'm sorry you have a headache. I hope you feel better. And thank you for popping into my stream. It's always nice to chat with you. I will be on again tomorrow at the same time for our stacked 3-dimensional stuffed pumpkins.
At Pepco, we deliver more than energy. We deliver enhancements to the grid so you get more reliability, payment assistance and support so you get more peace of mind, and cleaner energy solutions so you can look forward to a more sustainable future. We deliver more so we can power the pathway to cleaner, affordable, resilient
come on. Why did I put the hook into the middle of the stitch? Okay. That one cluster looked like it was too big, but even if it was, I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to be frogging it just to remove one little stitch. Keep the mistakes in it sometimes. Adds character. How many sides did I do so far? Only the one side, okay. Okay, I'm already done side 2 of this round. When I get to the end of this round, I think we might end it because I'm getting hungry. It's been a while since I had anything to eat today. Well, take that back. Before I streamed, I did have a couple crackers and some cookies. But I need something substantial to eat. One, two, three. Can't even do a single crochet. Okay, got another corner I'm doing. Like I said, these chain rows work up pretty quick. I keep messing up these chains. See, the hook just keeps coming out. Like, what am I doing wrong? Having trouble making chains. Chains, not change. Can't speak either. Alright, you gotta find that stitch to slip into. Alrighty, I'm gonna switch my stitch marker up a row, and we're gonna measure this, because right now we're at a row that if we were ready to add the border, this is where we would add the border. But I don't think we're there yet. I want to at least get 30 by 30 for the in this section. We're at 23. We still got a 7 more inches to at least go to. Alrighty. So I made some progress. Definitely made progress. Alrighty. Let's move you out of the way. And we're going to go and we're going to look at this real quick. Look at that. No, we're not doing that. Let's see. Let's see what's going on. That. That. I don't know what that is. Alrighty, I think we're gonna raid somebody. And we got a bunch of choices to raid. I got a little couple of these ads to sit through on some of these channels. Come on. There's crochet. Tatting. What are they doing? Not 100% certain. Cross stitch. Amy's. Bear with me, everybody. If there's anybody still watching me. Alrighty. Come on. A couple more seconds to get through some of these people's ad breaks. Okay, we have a choice to go. We have five streams that we can raid. We can raid somebody's doing some crochet amigurumi. We've got stamped cross stitch. This, I'm not exactly certain what they're doing. This might be some type of fiber art. Is that, I don't know if that's beading or what that is. We've got tatting, and we have they're crocheting something in a spiral. Does anybody have any preferences? So again, crochet amigurumi, stamped cross stitch. I think this is beading, or it could be cross stitch. You can't really tell. Tatting, or I don't know if it's an ami. They're doing some other type of crochet. Anybody have any preferences for any of those? If not, then I will decide. And I have an idea of who I would decide. Let's see here. Oh, wrong screen. I gotta pull up the right screen. Alrighty. Since nobody's giving me any suggestions, I'll be on again tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Eastern Time for our three-dimensional stuffed pumpkins. We're going to make the third one to go on top. They're stackable. They could be a centerpiece. I'm going to find some fall leaves and berries or stuff to stick in between to dress it up. So that's what we're doing tomorrow night. It looks more complicated than it is. It works up pretty quick. Check out the YouTube channel. All of my streams are on YouTube. As soon as I'm done streaming, I upload them so you can watch previous streams. Also, check out the Discord. Got a group over there. We share projects. We've asked questions. There's a whole lot of resources over there, and anybody can add resources. I'm not the only one that can do that. I've got a merch store. Check out my merch store. I've added 2 new products. They're 2 different accessory bags, zipper little, I think they're like a canvas type material. And I'm working on other things for the merch store. So, if nobody has any suggestions of who we should raid, I think we are going to go, oh, well, okay, well, they ended up raiding somebody, but anyway. So I think we're going to go and raid that Spy Guy 86. They are working on some stamped cross stitch. So everybody, join with the raid. Even if you can't stay, pop in for a little bit. Give them a follow. They're a multi-fiber crafter. Not just fiber. They're a multi-crafter. They cross stitch. They diamond paint. What else do we do over there, or do they do over there? That's the only things I've seen them do. So everybody, stick around for the raid. Show them some love. Send them a follow. Even if you can't stay, at least help them out, because we all try to help each other out. So that's how our channels grow. So we're going to go raid the Spy Guy. And they are working on a stamped cross-stitch. It's a Hogwarts, so it's a Harry Potter themed. So again, I will be on next time tomorrow at 6 p.m.